The opening verse of Psalm 127 is well known and often quoted. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labour in vain. Verse 1 goes on to say, unless the Lord watches over the city, then the watchmen guard it in vain. We can be very active, we can be very busy doing many things. Verse 2 speaks about those who rise up early and stay up late, labouring, working hard, wanting to provide food to eat. But unless the Lord is at work, then all our activity can lead to frustration. It can be in vain. The motto of Edinburgh in Scotland contains these opening words of Psalm 127. It's in Latin, Nisi Dominus Frustra. Without the Lord, frustration. And that is so true. Unless the Lord is at work, then all that we're doing will lead only to frustration. God is the architect and the builder of this world. And we want to be involved in what God is doing because God's work lasts. This psalm is attributed to Solomon. Solomon, who built the temple in Jerusalem, a magnificent building, a fantastic building. Only the best of materials and the most skilled of craftsmen were involved in the building of that house. And yet that house, that temple, was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labour in vain. We can be very busy building our lives here on earth, building our careers, building lovely homes in which we might live, building our families, even building the church. But we want the Lord to be involved in that. We're not to neglect God in all that we are doing. The Apostle Paul in the New Testament in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 speaks about the church being God's building. Paul has a role to play. He's a builder. He's laying the foundation. He says that the only foundation that can be laid for the church is that of Jesus Christ. That's true of our lives as well. Our lives must be founded on Jesus Christ. Yet Paul says there are others who will come along and they'll build on that foundation. But ultimately it's God's building. It's God who is at work. And we want to be involved in the work that God is doing. So don't neglect God in whatever it is that you are doing. As you seek to build your lives here on earth, involve God. Look to God. Seek God's glory. Seek God's help. Pray that God would be watching over your lives and that God would be helping you and bringing blessing in all that you do. That's the message of Psalm 127.